Yes, guys, Ryjack back for another Man City video. Today I'm looking at Man City's 3-1 win over Swansea City in the fourth round of the EFL Cup. Not the most exciting game, I won't lie. Some moments here and there. A worldie scored by Swansea, followed up with City really pulling away late. So before we do start, I do appreciate anybody new. Hit like, hit comment, hit subscribe. We're almost at 500 subs, which is a big number for me, and I'm very much appreciative of the support. So anyway, I'll pull up the screen over here. Let me move myself out of the way a bit. There we go. So, like I said, 3-1. Really, the momentum was with City the entirety of the game. You can see their initial goal. And respect to Gonzalo Franco. What a goal. One of the most aesthetically pleasing goals I've seen in a long time. The way he bent it in, I mean, it was impressive. I'm not going to lie. I was very shocked with that goal. Impressive stuff. Not a whole lot else happening for Swansea other than that. They really made it difficult for City. Really sat deep in their own box. At times, there was 11 men in the box. It was disgusting. I'm not going to lie. But it is what it is. It's a cup competition. They got to play the way they can play so they can try drag this game out, maybe take it to pens and win. But City do get a second goal. Doku scores. Big, heavy deflection. Honestly, I thought it might have been an own goal. But I guess Doku had it slightly on target, deflected, goes in, keeper goes the wrong way completely. And then basically the majority of the second half was just City putting massive amounts of pressure on the box and just rotating the ball around side to side, looking for opportunities, having trouble finding any opportunities, taking pop shots, and just in general not creating much of anything, really. There was a couple here and there where the final ball was just, a foot or 2 feet ahead of the City player. He could have maybe rounded the keeper, something like that. I think CHERKI had one of those. Nori had one of those. Josko had one of those. So really, 76% possession is pretty high relative to what we see most of the time for City. XG does favor City. 24 shots to 2 for Swansea City. Like I said, the stats don't lie. The game was all City, but a lot of the games City did struggle to create. So I don't want to make it seem like, we should have 5-0'd them, because that's not the reality at all, really. Nori does get a nice assist to Doku for his goal. Second goal comes from Omar Marmoush, and I'm not going to lie. I was a bit disappointed in Marmoush today in general. I thought his first touch, as it normally is, was heavy and clunky. He just seems so athletic, but also at the same time so uncoordinated, which is a weird combination to have. But he just seems like there are moments where he can't get the ball out from his feet and get into a breakaway situation, or the ball comes at him and his first touch is just a bit too heavy, and if it was a little bit better, we'd be in a great area to maybe create something. But more power to him. He gets a goal, which is something that many City players right now are struggling to do. He gets a nice threaded through ball from CHERKI. By the way, easily man of the match. CHERKI was a baller today. He threads the ball to Omar Marmoush. Marmoush just blasts this thing right over the keeper's head into the roof of the net. It was a fantastic finish, which, again, is why Omar Marmoush plays. The guy can finish. The guy shoots. The guy can score. So while I might have problems with some of his build-up play and his passing and touch, the guy can score. So it is what it is. I'm not super concerned. Then CHERKI gets an actual goal. Nice run. Josko finds him, and he's basically wide open in the box, slots it in the bottom right corner. And it capped off a really nice evening for Ryan CHERKI. He was, I would say, far and away the best player on the pitch. And if you look at the lineup, I'm sure that, 9.1 rating is probably fair. The guy was awesome. He was really good in his first start in quite some time, since the Spurs game all the way back in end of August, early September, whenever that was. So it's been a long time coming, and I was happy to see CHERKI do so well and impact the game so much. That's what we need going forward, and I would assume as long as he is fit, he will start the next game against Bournemouth and hopefully provide this type of impact in the Premier League, which is where it's really, really needed. Other players that were standouts, Taku gets his goal. Other than his goal, I don't think he was really much. Same thing for Marmoush, gets a goal, but I don't think nothing really happened. Mukasa, difficult for him. I don't really remember him being on the ball very much, to be honest. He was kind of invisible, I would say. Bob, again, struggled, unfortunately. You guys know I love Oscar Bob. He's got such good close control of the ball. He's just missing something in the final third, whether it's beating his man or maybe being more decisive. I don't know what it is, but Bob struggled today. I was not super impressed. I know he gets a green 7-3, but I think the ratings just naturally go up a bit when you win. And, I'm thinking more of like a 6, like an average performance from Oscar Bob. Nico G, good. Another solid performance, 90 minutes. I didn't know if he had that in him based on the injury scare that we thought we maybe had with him. But that is nice to see. I'd love it if he continues to start in the absence of Roger. I think he's been very, very good. And another all-around solid performance. Nori, he gets an assist, which brings up that rating. But in general, I don't think he was that good today. First game back in like quite a while as well. So I don't want to overanalyze Nori or anything, but he didn't do much, to be honest. Didn't have to do a whole lot of defending, but it wasn't his best day. Ake, fine. Kusanov, fine. Had one pretty poor pass that led to a semi-chance for Swansea, which, they didn't score, so nothing came of it, but that was a poor moment for Kusanov in the game. It was just a lazy ball. Rico Lewis, again, fine. No one, not really anything to speak of, in my opinion. And James Trafford, the guy didn't have to do anything. He was never saving that goal Swansea scored, and I don't think he made another save all night because I don't think there was any shots he actually faced. So it is what it is. Distribution was fine. He had maybe a couple of passes that went long and found someone, but nothing really to speak of. As far as subs, Josko was good when he came on. Foden was decent. He got in some good areas, but all around, other than really CHERKI and Nico, I think everybody was just average, I would say. CHERKI dragged us across this finish line for this win, and Nico G was right there with him. Those two were the best players on the pitch for me, and CHERKI was the better of the two for sure, without a doubt. So is it concerning? Not really, because this is our first game with this lineup. I mean, there was 10 changes to the lineup. Surely many of these players have never started a game together before, and a lot of them coming back from injuries. So, when I saw the lineup, I was very excited. I was like, wow, this is refreshing. A lot of new faces that we haven't seen in a while or rarely at all. In Mukasa, didn't really work. But again, credit to Swansea. They made it extremely difficult with the way they played, with how many men behind the ball they had. So I'm not really surprised. City do win. They do advance. And we go into the 5th round of the Cup. I don't know when the draw is. I'm going to take a look now just so I can find out. When is the Carabao Cup 5th round draw? It's probably this week, maybe tomorrow. No, it's actually tonight. Happening tonight after the conclusion of the Newcastle Spurs game, 10:30 for the people over in the UK, 10:30 GMT. So by the time this video goes live, you guys might know who we do play in the next round. As of now, I'm not sure, but we should be finding out in the next hour or so for the draw. Anyway, big game coming up at the weekend. Much more important than this one. I'm happy we won, of course, but focus needs to be on the Premier League at the moment. Sunday, November 2nd, 11:30 a.m. for me. And I will be doing a live watch along back here on the channel. I know I missed the Villa game on Sunday. Unfortunately, I was busy. But I will be doing a live watch along for the Bournemouth game. There'll be some build-up as well here on the channel. So do check it out. I appreciate it as always, guys. And I will see you in the next one.